everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Super Paper Mario. I am Mega Freak 400, and last time we were in the underwear, and via the underwear road, and now we're finally out of there, in the over there, where there is clouds, and there are clouds. Tons and tons of clouds in this level. This subchapter, as much as I said I like this chapter overall, the entirety, I would be lying if I didn't say this subchapter can be a little bit annoying at times. I'll explain in depth a little bit later. But anyway, blue skies again. If we continue upward, we'll soon be in the over there. Let us away. Yes. That sounds well and good, but we have yet to find Peach. Yes, where is Peach? I'm not that worried, but Bowser is, because, yeah, she's gonna be feeling lonely without Bowser by her side. Is young Peach the lady friend of Mario? No, of course not. That's Bowser's wife. So yeah, when you do this, when you enter this with like Mario, you'll actually have the comment will be made towards Tippy and Tippy liking Mario, as opposed to Bowser liking Peach. Because if you haven't noticed, Tippy does have a little bit of an affinity towards Mario, somewhat. Anyway, the Overthere Stair. This is quite long. In fact, these next two the next video for sure is going to be probably. I mean, every time a new chapter has come up, if you haven't noticed so far, the videos have gotten longer and longer. I know some people don't mind that. The only reason I've continued to make the videos long is because I said I was going to make, for the most part, one video per chapter, and I kind of want to be consistent. No video has gone. If a video goes over 30, though, for sure I'm gonna cut it. And I technically kind of broke that rule with chapter 1 of this chapter, but that technically wasn't the chapter yet, so that's why I did that. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of super long videos, so I don't know if anyone is really upset that these videos, some of these videos are being very long. But anyway, this video is gonna be quite long because this chapter is quite long. I don't even explore every facet of the over there. The problem with the over there, as far as I see it, is it's just a maze of clouds, a vertical maze of clouds. And then you have the clouds that you can. Well, you already have clouds, but you have these bouncy clouds that make you lose track of where you are even more so. And then you have the flipping mechanic. That's the problem I have with the flipping mechanic, as I've said before in this game, is there's so many secrets, and I mean, I guess you just don't have to find the secrets, but like, if you want to make sure there's nothing, you know, missing, you're gonna have to flip everywhere, and that's probably the one thing I wish they would have thought about a little bit more when making this game, is not making the flipping. So I almost just take the flipping out. I mean, as much as it's kind of used, it is somewhat gimmicky. I almost think this game works better as just being would be better if they focus on the mechanics of making it a 2D platformer. But anyway, the Over There has awesome music and has a cool design. It's got some lines in the background. And also, yeah, I believe some point the void does appear in the background. Obviously not right now, so that makes it seem like the void is higher up. But I guess that means the Over There is in danger of being threatened by the void. And this slow music is pretty awesome. Slow Luigi jump. And there's Merlee to make us jolly. But anyway, what have I been doing what have I been, up to lately? Because it's been a while since I've, had new recordings. These are new recordings since the last batch. Well, the 3DS is now out. Supposedly everyone is there's been a lot of things like, is the 3DS going to fail, or should people be worried, or why isn't the 3DS got off its feet? I mean, I'm not saying the sales were necessarily like, I don't know, I don't think the sales were that bad. They probably were less than what was expected, but I guess my thing is, what did you expect? It was released, the 3DS was released during the spring. Not usually the ideal time to release a game system. Holiday is usually the best time. And, it was released when the DS is still pretty popular. I mean, I'd say it's suffering from the same syndrome that the PS3 kind of suffered from. That it's a little bit I mean, expensive not as much, but it is more expensive than the DS. Not really if you think about it. DSi, or even, DS Lite, of course, but DSi is like 160. 3DS isn't that much more expensive, but it's more expensive than the 3DS, or than the DS, and a lot of people are still happy with the DS, and they're still making games for it, so, there's some people who probably aren't in a hurry to buy in the 3DS, not to mention the fact that, well, I don't think the launch games are that bad. They are, somewhat lacking that some people might not want to, purchase it. And, again, like, I know people complain about the launch, but, like, past launches haven't been all that, for systems. Even the DS's launch, the only, like, really key title was Mario 64 DS. So it's not like this hasn't happened before. Give it time. The 3DS will be probably great by winter. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it will be a bomb. But I think honestly, anyone who's like worrying about the 3DS's sales, or like the analysts who are like, oh, the 3DS might fail, it's like, give it time. I mean, there's many factors that, like I said, the games and stuff. People are panicking over how good the 3DS, or how 3DS isn't doing as good as it could be doing. But considering the factors of timing and, some of their key titles, like there hasn't been, some of the key titles that have been announced for 3DS haven't been released. So whoa, that's awesome what I'm doing right there. But because of that fact, probably people are just holding off on it. So I don't think it's something to be panicking over. I think people make too big a deals out of some of the littlest things a lot of times. Like everyone with the Wii saying, "Oh, Wii sales are decreasing. The Wii is, out. It's failing horribly." It's like, most people have a good portion of people who want a Wii have bought a Wii at this point, and unless they change up packaging or have new deals. Yeah, that would get more sales, but like it's expected that during a console's life, it will slowly get less sales. That's normal, people. And there's the void over there. I'm not saying they should just ignore that, and they should probably try and get more sales. But like, it's normal for hardware to eventually decrease in sales. That's just how life works. So I don't know, it's just kind of frustrating to see people like panicking over stuff like that, and it's like, I mean, granted it's something to be aware of, but, ooh, tree with full of apples. These are, well, not really blue, they're more like turquoise apples. But, yeah, these apples are going to come into play, but there's only 2 apples you honestly really need. Those we'll get to later, but you need 2 apples, and then you don't have to worry about any of the other ones. Still cool to have, but you don't need them. So yeah, I guess my thing is when people like panic over small little things, or think way too, not really way too far ahead. I mean, there's people. I can't really think of an example. I keep going on and on about like the casual gaming and how, not really casual gaming, but like Facebook games and like iPad apps, and how people are, saying, oh, it's gonna ruin gaming. Like the people who are, most people who are making these statements are people who are actually developing games for those platforms. They're like, it's kind of biased in that, but it's like, yeah, Facebook gaming, these kind of app gamings, it is definitely, an important thing that people should keep aware of, but I guess it kind of annoys me when people make a bigger deal out of things than they should be. Now, I guess you could say, well, you might be thinking that, but in reality, you actually should be a little bit more concerned about it. I guess my thing is, while that might be the case in some cases, and that's, true, there are some cases where it's like, well, okay, I guess, for example, when it first came out, I thought it would be, but then after the last E3, I didn't think Kinect would sell as well as it did, and I was surprised that it actually did sell pretty well. And the technology is impressive. I am concerned about, or not really concerned, but I am curious as to where they're going to go with games at this point. But that is something I admit I was wrong about, and not really should have been worried about more, but, I guess my thing is, it's better to keep a little bit of an open mind, to be honest. Because if I go into the whole thing, if you start worrying about casual game, or I don't want to say casual game because that's not even really the accurate term, but if you worry about like the app storm, and or if you worry about 3DS's sales, when they might, you know, it might not be something that is worth worrying about, or maybe, you know, just keep an open mind, be like, okay, maybe this could be an impact, but don't like panic about it like some people seem to do. It's not healthy to panic. And here we have red apples. These are one of the apples we do need. And if you've played this game before, you'll know that there's no indication that you need them until later. So it's a good idea, if you're watching this and you've never played the game before, make sure to grab the red apple right now, because then you'll save yourself a little bit of backtracking later. Otherwise, you'll have to backtrack later, which isn't fun at all. And I advise, yeah, so I advise just basically getting those there. No reason not to. If you notice, all the clouds are numbered, so we have like 42. We passed cloud 41, the demon cloud. Wait, no, somewhere it's around here. But yeah, all the clouds are numbered, and I think there's cloud 9. There's cloud. It's kind of cool. I like the little touches like that. Again, I like the design of this level. I just think the cloud maze is kind of, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it personally. And a lot of, I've heard other people aren't really a fan of like this level either, which is sad because it's not like it's a bad level, or this part in particular. But it's not like it's a bad section. It's just the cloud maze, specifically the cloud maze. The next chapter is not nearly as bad. The bouncy vertical cloud type maze is. Princess Peach, what are you doing here? Well, I assume you got sent here. And unlike Bowser and Luigi and Mario, you are heavenly, so therefore you do not get sent to the underwear. Princess Peach. Hey, wake up, princess. Snore. This is just plain annoying. Get up. I wish I had that as an alarm clock. I always have trouble waking up. That was a serious roar right there. So yeah, Peach is in a deep trance. And the reason? Well, as Lovebee will soon explain, Peach ate golden fruit, and as we all know, golden fruit is actually quite dangerous, even though you would think it wouldn't be. So yeah, she is now, over there is teamed with magical fruit, and the golden one will put people in deep sleep, and she'll be there for 100 years. That's quite a lot of time, and I'm pretty sure the world will be destroyed by then. So yeah, we don't really have time for her to sleep for 100 years. So we need to find a way to wake her up. And there is one way. There is a taboo fruit, as she will mention. Yeah, somewhere there. Taboo fruit. And this fruit could wake anyone up. So we'll have to search for the taboo fruit. But I think we already have the taboo fruit. Personally. We have red fruit and turquoise fruit. And obviously, turquoise fruit is forbidden. You shouldn't be eating turquoise fruit, so let's try giving that to her after Lovebee is done having a hissy fit. She is sulking. Good. Have fun with that. So yeah, let's feed Peach the turquoise fruit. Blue apple, technically, but it's turquoise. And let's see if this works. Oh, she's small. That didn't help. At least she's pocket-sized now, so she'll be easy to carry around. But, anyway. But yeah, some of the fruit, if you feed her some of the wrong fruit, you'll get different effects. I think the red one makes her grow big. One of them makes her grow a mustache. That might be the yellow fruit. Maybe it's the pink fruit. I think the pink fruit turns her into a peach, or like an actual peach. So yeah, there's some. It's kind of a cool little. They're cool little Easter eggs of sorts, feeding her the wrong fruit. Not really. Well, I guess kind of Easter egg, not really, but that really wouldn't be the correct terminology. So what else has been going on lately? I know in a lot of these videos I've been like combining topics, but like I said, these videos are quite long. For projects like newer projects from now on, I'll probably not have videos be this long. Again, it was because I had the whole chapter policy I established. I am curious though if people really don't like that or they do like that. I honestly like to have my videos be a little bit somewhat shorter. Here's the pink fruit. Like no more than 20 minutes. That's why I usually don't keep my Harvest Moon videos under 20 minutes for the most part. But I mean, I guess if people, even then though, I guess it depends on the game too. But anyway, what else I've been doing? Well, if you remember from my Ask series, which was pretty recent, I mentioned for people to, suggest animes, and I actually did watch, one of those animes. I still should watch more, but and the way I watched it was dumb. I basically, and I do regret doing this, but I kind of watched it all in like one sitting at like one night, and it was a horrible idea, and I got no work done. But it was good, so it kept me wanting to watch it. So I guess that does say something about it if it keeps me wanting to watch it for that long. But basically, I watched Tegen Torin. I'll just say the last name because I can't get the first part right, but it's Gurren Lagann. Basically, it's a robot fighting mech anime. Anyone who, most people who even know what I'm talking about, well, I probably don't need to explain it because most people who know the name are probably going to know what I'm talking about for the most part. But it was interesting. I definitely say, I will definitely check out more animes because it actually, as much as I like the Western style of animation with just, comically hilarious and cartoony, anime is a lot of what I feel animation shows a lot of what animation, yeah, here's the black fruit, this is going to be the taboo fruit that we need. But animation is a lot of what animation can be, and because Japanese doesn't have the same inhibitions, or because Japan animators tend to not have the same inhibitions American animators have about making stuff for kids a lot of the times, more true today than it was like in the 90s, because there was stuff that was kind of, for everyone, and, well wait, before I got on that rant, Peach is now up because she ate black fruit. So picky, it's not that gross. Ungrateful princess. But anyway, she didn't like what we gave her to eat, but it woke her up. And we are all here to say, yeah, it worked. Yes, Princess Peach, you're awake. So yeah, she's surprised that Luigi's here, and I'm kind of surprised she didn't notice all of us here before. What were you doing here? You were sleeping. You're in the Overthere. Dementia's attack sent you here. So thou wakest. And there is Loveby, who is somewhat jealous of Peach. I don't know exactly why. I guess because she's a princess, but I thought she didn't want to be... I thought she didn't want Mario to be her prince, in the sense Peach likes Mario, kind of. Since Peach is Mario's special one, don't know why exactly she would be jealous, but either way, yeah, she must have caused us so much trouble. Well, not really, we kind of haven't had any use of you, but we do need use of you now, because a part coming up to continue on where we need your, floating ability. So, come with us. Come with me, and you'll see a world of pure imagination. That song's great. The song's from that movie, the original one, not the remake. Remake songs aren't horrible, but the ones in the original are quite, classics. But anyway, I feel anime does sometimes almost too much, because Japan just kind of can get a little bit weird. But anime, basically anime doesn't think of itself as being for kids. A lot of Western animation, not all of it, and like Looney Tunes is a good example of that not being the case. It just has a different style. It has more comedic style as opposed to, I mean, animations have a comedic, or anime has a comedic style. It's just a different style to them. But I guess what I'm saying is some animations, I think it's all honestly more evident in movies, but are more geared towards kids. Now, I'm not saying an animation can't be for kids or kids can't. I'm not saying animation can't be for kids, nor am I saying that animation can't be kid acceptable. I'm saying there's this kind of thought process, as I've said before, specifically with Western cultures, at least in the United States, I would say, that cartoons are for kids, and only kids and creeps watch, cartoons. And there doesn't seem to be that feeling in Japan or in Japanese culture. And also I'm going to show off right here, you can use Piccolo to heal your Cursia curse. Which sometimes, as much useful as that can be, sometimes it's just better to wait it out because it takes a while for Piccolo to play her song, and then platforms will disturb you. But yeah, I guess my thing with, anime, mostly in terms of story, I guess. And again, I'm not saying all Western animations lack the story or stuff, but I guess, then again, with Gurren Lagann, the story was interesting, but I don't know, I didn't, like, not like it. I liked it quite a bit, as I've said, but it definitely was kind of over the top is kind of, putting it lightly. It was weird. You know, some of the transitions, without spoiling it, like, from the beginning to the end, especially since I watched it all in one sitting, it does, change quite a bit. But I guess what I'm saying in terms of animation, Western compared to Japan, I feel, not even just Western compared to Japan, I feel some people need to, you know, not be afraid to make an animation, you know, that anyone can. I guess my thing is, you know, Gurren Lagann really wasn't aimed for kids. You know, it was more aimed for adults, and I guess my thing is I kind of like. Usually when you see animation in Western cultures, it can be watched by adults, but for the most part it's more aimed towards kids or it's kid-friendly. And Gurren Lagann isn't really that for the most part. You know, so I guess my thing is that's one thing I really do appreciate, I guess, more about. Not necessarily that I think Western animation needs to do more that I appreciate, because there are some Western animations that actually do that. You know, I don't know what I'm saying. I guess what I'm saying is I enjoy... Anime is unique, and I enjoy it for its uniqueness. Also, we're on Cloud 69. But, anyway, yeah, I'm definitely gonna try. I think probably watch Yu Yu Hakusho or Fullmetal Alchemist next, unless someone tells me otherwise, because the Yu Yu Hakusho I've looked is really long. Then again, it's not a bad thing, because when they're longer, I'm not going to sit down in one sitting and watch it, because Gurren Lagann was only 27 episodes. Yeah, 27 episodes, so that means it was basically, like, a half a day of just watching that. Again, it was good, it just, you know, took up quite a big chunk of my time. But yeah, I guess my thing in terms of... it's really situational. It's not that all Western animation doesn't have adult themes, nor do I think that's something that's, you know, makes anime better. I don't know what anime's just different. There's different aspects that anime has. There's a different kind of humor to anime than there is to. I think there's a lot of also. I guess the thing is there's a lot of more sexual humor in anime than in Western animation, but that's not always the case either. And here we have Cyrus, a newborn cloud. He wants to be a big cloud, but he's too small. So he wants something to eat to get bigger. We don't have any mushrooms, though, that'll make you big, but we do have a red apple, and this will make you big. So make sure to have this at this point, otherwise you'll have to backtrack. Luckily, there is, to the left, a switch that will activate a pipe that will take you back to where Peach was, so you can get to the red apple a little bit easier. And he is Super Cyrus. No more little itty-bitty cloud for me, I'm really bouncy, so hop on top. Okay, let's do it. Whoa. That's a little bit too high. We're kind of in space. See, okay, we're in space now, but we don't need a helmet. Wouldn't we explode? Or, well, I'm not sure what would happen if you would die if you went in space without a helmet. I don't think you would necessarily explode. Maybe you would. I should look up the science of that. But, yeah, I don't know, what I was trying. I'm a little bit, delirious. In terms of my discussion about anime and Western animation. I guess my thing is, they're both good in their own way, and it's interesting, you know, some of the differences that anime and Western animation has. And not really refreshing, but it's enjoyable. It's I guess my thing is, it definitely is more geared towards adult viewers than some Western animation, which are kind of geared more towards both, if anything. So, and not adult as in like adult, you know, not that adult, but like more towards a mature audience, I guess. And this wall looks suspicious, so if we lose Luigi... No, we don't want to lose Luigi, he's pretty valuable. But if we use Luigi, we can go over here and get a... I think it's a card. Catch card. Yeah, zombie shroom. But yeah, that's about all the time I have, so this has been Mega Freak 400, and next time, or not next time, I am reminding you, popsicles are good for you.